Hello friends, welcome to module 5 heuristic search methods in artificial intelligence series of modules. We have already seen that it is possible to represent a problem using state space. We have already seen that there is possibility of using something called blind search methods like kit generated test, breadth first search, depth first search to handle the search problem. But the problem with these methods that is going to entangled into something called combinatorial explosion. Combinatorial explosion is number of options that you have. In the previous module we have seen simple 853 Galois-Waterjig problem where we have only few nodes to explore and we could get the answer. But let us again pick up a problem like chess and it becomes impossible for us to get an answer. There are so many other problems which we can talk about where we can see that even a trivial problem like traveling salesman result into a serious combinatorial explosion and you cannot solve the problem in real time. And we have already seen that it is possible to learn from the domain which moves are better than others, and if you can somehow manage that, it becomes easier for us to choose moves which are better and complete the search process in real time. So that is precisely the theme of this particular module. Okay, so let us see what heuristic search methods are. Okay, let us begin with the introduction of something called heuristic function. Is a function which is applied to a state. Now if you ask a chess player given a board position, two board positions, which one is better, he would say this is better or that is better. But how better, how much they are, the quantitative representation they may not be able to give, but here we are thinking that way. We are going to have a quantitative representation of goodness of the state. We call it the heuristic function response or the answer. So what does that mean? I am given a chessboard position, I apply that heuristic function will give me a value between -10 and 10. -10 is a defeat for me, 10 is a win for me, and the value between -10 to 10 indicates the merit of that particular state, how good or bad that state is. So you can see it is about using domain knowledge. Okay, what the heuristic function take as an input, the problem state, and what it comes out with is the value, okay, how good or bad, but -10 to 10 in conventional way, but you can design your own way, there is no standard as such. And here Farmer-Fox-Chikanon problem, suppose if I design a heuristic function for Farmer-Fox-Chikanon problem, for this assume that there is a function exists. It says everybody is on the left hand side, nobody is on the left hand side, everybody is on the right hand side. What does that mean? That means that it is 10, it is win for us, the problem is solved. Okay, missionary cannibal case, sorry, it is milk jug problem, sorry, it is 0 0 0 minus 10. What does that mean? If I have nothing left in all jugs, I have done something terribly wrong. -10, I will not reach to solution after this. Okay, so it is kind of a dead end or loss, okay, a failure. So these are examples, but the more important thing is I must have some clear means of telling which move is better. For example, we have assumed that 800 is the beginning, this thing, a move. Okay. For example, I am at a typical place in 853 Galois-Waterjig problem. I have few moves possible. I can move to 800, I can move to 602, I can move to 350, and I can move to 323. Okay, and suppose if my heuristic function says that 800's heuristic value is -5, 602 is 5, 350 is 3, and 323 is 4. Now it clearly indicates that 602 is better than others. So what should I choose? I just choose 602. Okay, so this is how I can apply heuristic function and get the move that I should choose, rather than exploring all of them like breadth first, or exploring one branch and then the second branch and the third branch like DFS. I am not doing it blindly, and that is why this is called guided search and not blind search or unguided search. Anyway, there are two problems, there are two questions that you would probably ask before we proceed further. First, how to write this function, important. Second, if this function, suppose if you know how to write this function, how will you put this function to use? In fact, the second answer is easy to, second question is easy to answer. If I have this function, I can just apply to a state and get that value between minus 10 and 10, and I'll look at all possible alternatives. Suppose if I am here and I have 5 different moves from this, I'll apply this function to all of them, decide which one gives me the better heuristic value, and I'll choose that. That's simple, and okay, but that not that simple. We'll see how to proceed using that. But that is precisely what we are supposed to do, and that's the theme of this chapter. The first part, how to write this function, actually depends on the domain, and that's the reason why we are not going to discuss much about this. But if you know how to, and there are some books available on how to write a heuristic function for given domain like chess. So you can choose the book that suits your domain, look for heuristic function, or try writing few yourself. But otherwise it's simple. If you know how to write heuristic function, whatever we are going to talk about is perfectly alright. Even if you don't know, it's still okay. We'll look at the first method, and that method is again pretty simple. What I do is, I'm here in this state, I just apply one rule that is possible to be applied in this, generate the node. If this node is better than this, I'll just go. That's called hill climbing. Why it's called hill climbing? I'm actually incrementing the heuristic value. If my current node's heuristic value is 3, I get a node with heuristic value 5, I just move, and then from 5 I get 7, I move, at 7, 8 I can move up, and so on. What my requirement is to reach to 10. I've already told you 10 is the solution. Okay, so that's why it's called hill climbing. So the algorithm is shown on the screen. Pick up the start node and make it current node. Okay, so it's simple. Pick up the start node. It's the current node. If it's the goal, great, you don't need to do anything. It is not, fine, go further. Look at all possible rules to be applied. Apply the first rule. If it is better, go to that node. Okay, generate new state by applying next rule. No rules left. If you don't have, and from this particular state there are no rules possible, you can't go further, is a dead end. Say cannot move. Okay, apply heuristic function, see which one is better. If it is better, go ahead. Now you can see this example, this figure actually talks about. We begin with a state with heuristic value minus 3. We apply first rule, we get minus 5. Can we move? We cannot, because this particular node has lesser heuristic value. We would like to have a better heuristic value, so we will not move further. Next one is minus 4. This also is not very good. Okay, this is not better than the current one, so we will not move. 0 is better than minus 3, so we will pick up that. Now the first node that we generate is minus 1, which is obviously not as good, but the other one, when you apply the second rule, the state that we get has value 2, so we move to 2. Then we apply the first rule, which makes it 4, so this state is good, so we move to 4. Then we have 2 options, one is 4, which is same, so we will not go for that. Next one is 10. Okay, so what we do now, we will jump to 10 and we got a solution. Okay, this is called hill climbing. Sounds simple? It is. But then there is a problem. Look at this typical case. We start with minus 3. The first node is minus 5, not very good. We have 0, this is better. So we move there, then minus 1, not good, 2, better, go there, 4. We are moving along quite nice, okay, 4, but then there is a problem. There are 2 children, neither of them has better value, and we are stuck. We are stuck, we cannot move forward, and we are not at the solution. Remember, when we are at the solution, when we get value 10, we don't have the value 10, we get 3 and 2. So none of them is a solution, but we cannot go. So that is the problem with hill climbing. That's called local maxima. Why it's called local? Because we are not reached to the final goal state. That's local, surrounding. Okay, and maxima means it is 3 and 2 are lesser values. So what you are doing, you start with minus 3, then 0, then 2, then 4. You reach to 4, but then you can't move further. It is actually mini maxima. It's kind of a hill. Okay, you reach to 4, you can't move further. Okay, that's called local maxima. Okay, there is something called dead end also. You can look at this example, same 3, 0, 2, 4, 4 and 6. Now you choose 6, but then there are no rules possible in this case. It is very good move 6, it is not solution, but then there are no possible rules to be applied. When there are no possibility of applying any rules, we can't move further. So 6 is a dead end in this case. Okay, there is something called steepest descent hill climbing, which is little different than the hill climbing. Okay, what does it do? Instead of picking up each one rule and find out if the node is better, what it does is explore every one and pick up the best one. You see the example, -5, 4 and 0 for 3. So you pick up 4, again pick up all children of 4, 5, 6 and 4, we pick up 6 which is best. Okay, this is what we are doing, we are picking up the best child, and then 8 and then 10. Okay, so this is what is known as steepest ascent hill climbing. Why it is called steepest ascent? Because we are looking at all possible nodes and will pick up the node which gives us steepest ascent, will give us highest value of the heuristic value of the children. Okay, so we will choose the child with highest heuristic value, that is why it is called steepest ascent. Okay, the next search method that we are going to use, we are going to talk about, is called best first search. Now this is little different than hill climbing, little better than hill climbing in some sense. We have seen that we entangled into local maxima. If we find that our children do not have the value better than us, what should we do? Hill climbing stops there, it fails there, and in case of best first search we do not do it. In fact, it allows you to pick up the best child. Not only that, irrespective of the parents value, in like the previous case we have 4 which has 2 and 3 and you cannot go because it's worse. In case of best first you can even pick up 3. Not only that, you can even go ahead and pick up some other branch, some other node which is better than 3, you can do it. Okay, so that is what best first search is. In fact, best first search you have 3 different types of nodes. First, which are already explored, second which are yet to be explored, and the third which we are considering right now. Okay, the candidates for that thing. So they are best actually. So we are always looking at best nodes. So there are 3 ones listed on the slide. Okay, so what we have is this: pick up the start node and make it current. Okay, the start node, and take up all nodes, pick and store them in the heuristic sorted order of heuristic value. So what we have, the best node on the top. Now we are not looking at the children, we are looking at just all nodes. Okay, we explore the top one, we get all nodes, we apply heuristic values to them, add them in the array, and again pick up the node from the top. All explored nodes are kept in the other array. You may be surprised if we are only picking up unexplored nodes, what is the point in storing explored nodes? Quite interesting. Obviously they are needed whenever you explore a node, whenever you generate children for a node. If the child is already explored? We have seen the earlier cases, the repeated nodes and the nodes which are already explored. So if you look at that array, you can easily understand the children that you are generating is already explored. So you do not add them in the explored arrays. That is the reason why we are keeping that array. Okay. So this is how we are doing. Okay. Okay. So in the beginning you just insert all nodes in an array and other unexplored node in the other array and find out the best node from the array. If the array is empty, report failure. When the array becomes empty, because there is no node to explore. Okay, it is impossible in some cases, but it is possible in some cases as well. So whenever there is no node to explore, you cannot go further, and there is no end, and there is no this thing road ahead. Now 2 important characteristics of best first search. Best first, remember the word best first means that we are only exploring best nodes. Okay, so obviously we need to have unexplored nodes. I have already talked about the need. The other one which is also quite interesting is that we always pick up the best node irrespective of the parent value. So unlike hill climbing, it does not get stuck, it tries all possible way to explore the search surface and get the solution. Okay, the heuristic search process, if you look at the search process that is described earlier, you move in this direction and this direction and this direction, you may feel that is quite jittery. It moves to and fro and is not going directly to the solution, but that is quite acceptable. Why? Because if there is you have a formula which can directly lead to a solution, then it is not an AI problem. There is a formula you just apply. If the heuristic function gives you exact measure of how far the goal node is, you do not need to do, there is no search, the heuristic function exactly tells you the value. Okay. In most cases, heuristic function will not give you exact value, it just gives you an estimate. Okay. And there are some mathematical ways of judging how estimate is near to the correct value and so on and so forth, but eventually what we get when we use heuristic is the estimate of how far we are from the goal node. And when we only have an estimate, it is likely that we try in one direction, we may fail, we have to try in the other direction and so on and so forth. So, it has to be that way. Okay. And I have already talked about that chess playing programs use serious heuristics, and sometimes the chess playing programs use heuristics based on the opponent. For example, Garry Kasparov, the Deep Blue machine which IBM built, which has beaten Garry Kasparov 3-2, if you remember, it was there in use for quite some time. So it could do it because the chess playing programs use heuristics based on the way the Garry Kasparov used to play chess. And you can see the best first search, the next figure, the slide shows how best first search works. You have -3, then -5, -2 and 3 are the children. Now you can see that there is a node -3 which is explored, 3 which is also explored now, which is being explored right now. -5, 2, -1 and 2 are yet to be explored. So, they are part of the unexplored nodes, -3 and 2 now they are explored. Okay. We are only taking a small segment of this thing. You can see that now 2 is the best this thing. So, out of -5, 2, -1 and -2, 2 is the best node. See, we are not doing exploring it like hill climbing. Okay. If we are exploring like hill climbing, we have come to a dead end actually, because 3 only 2 children, -1 and -2, both of them are having less value, so we will not be going forward. But here in this case 2 is the best node, so we will explore 2. So, 2 is explored, we get -3, -2 and 1. So, we will explore 1. Okay. This is again different than the hill climbing, because if this were hill climbing, 1 cannot be explored, it has lesser value than 2. So, but we are doing it. Okay. So, we are picking up, we are taking that as correct and we are going forward. So, what we have, 1 we have -3 and -4. Now, you can see in this particular case -3, 2, 1 and 3, all 4 of the nodes are explored. -1 is the best node right now. Okay. So, we are going to explore it and so on and so forth. You can see that this search process is jittery obviously, and I have told you the reason for it. And it is so, you can see -1 is explored where 1 is 3, other one is 4. Okay. Let us look at one important factor, so that was best first search. Okay. We have, in fact, you can go further and get the answer, but best first search basically is the search where you use heuristic value and you just pick up the best node irrespective of what your children are and what the parents heuristic value is. Okay. So, the branching factor, the next thing which we are trying to explore, I have already told you that when you explore a search tree or a graph, a difference between search tree and a graph is a graph will have, a child will have a point, it is quite possible that it will also point to a parent may be a children, to a children and so on and so forth. What is the branching factor? Branching factor is number of nodes that you will have as a child on an average. Okay. For a complete binary tree, I have already talked about, number of node is almost double themselves at every level. With a branching factor of 35, chess is an example. At level number 1 you have 35, level number 2 you have 35 into 35 minus 36 means the earlier node. Next level is 35 into 35 into 35 minus whatever you have explored so far, that many huge number of nodes. In fact, that is the reason why in many cases what you are supposed to do is to, like, so for example, you are exploring chess and after 6 levels you cannot explore 7, it is too much for you and you choose one node. Now, that node may be little bad, that node may not be as good as it looks at the first shot. So, what do? You cannot explore the entire level further, but you can explore that node further. When that particular node that you are planning to choose is explored little further, it is called secondary search. That is applied in chess and many other cases many times. But anyway, this branching factor is an important point in the search process. Okay, now an important something little different which little different than the conventional state space search that we have seen so far. It is possible to represent a problem in two different ways. In one way we have already done, like for example missionary cannibal problem, you start from 3300, then move along and at the end you get 0033. So that is how we do it, like that is called constructive search. We start with the initial state and reach to the final state. But there is one more way. One more way is to, like for example, let us take the same missionary cannibal case. What we do is we just write some sequence of random states, okay, and call that thing as node 1, another sequence node 2, another sequence node 3, and so on and so forth. Now what we do is we just check if the first sequence is a solution, second sequence is a solution, third sequence is a solution, and so on and so forth. Now in this state space what we do is every node represents a particular solution, a potential solution, okay, a particular sequence which may be the right answer to this missionary cannibal problem. And what we do is we just apply kind of a generate and test. We just see if the sequence is a solution. If not, we will pick up some other sequence. If not, we will pick up the third sequence, and so on and so forth. So that is called perturbation search, okay, unlike the constructive search that we have seen so far. Okay, solution search can be done in either way. The first case is one, the second case is one. For missionary cannibal, the constructive search method is little better because it is easier. Solution search space exploration is little complex, but for some other problems that is a better method. We will see that thing in our 8th module when we look at genetic algorithms. Well, we see genetic algorithms are very good at those kind of problems where you have to apply perturbation search. Okay, both methods are used in practice. Now let us look at the summary of what we have looked at this module in the heuristic search module. The heuristic search module, heuristic search method is a method which is not blind like BFS, DFS and generate and test. The method is applied in a way that the all alternative states possible, all children of a node, they are tested and checked if one is better than the other, and what you do is you pick up a better node. And how it is done? It is done by applying something called a heuristic function. A heuristic function is based on the domain knowledge. Applying that heuristic function will tell you exactly how good or bad a particular state is. Usually this value is between -10 and 10. So that value will give you the ranking of or the merit of every state that you have at your disposal, and you can choose the best one. That is the power of heuristic search method. There are few heuristic search methods that we have seen in this particular module. One of them is hill climbing. Hill climbing is about simple. You just explore your children, apply heuristic function and pick up the simplest of hill climbing you do not do that. Simplest of hill climbing, you apply one of the rules, look at what you get, and that node, if that node has a better value, you just move there, not better value, generate the other children, and so on and so forth. The steepest ascent hill climbing, the little different version of it, you generate all nodes and pick up the best, and so on. The problem with hill climbing is that you end up in a local maxima. It is quite possible that you get children, all of them having lesser value than the parent, and you can't move forward. That is steepest ascent, that is the local maxima problem. The other method that we have seen is called best first search. Best first search is about exploring this, but unlike hill climbing, you will just pick up the best node. What you have to do is to just store all unexplored nodes irrespective of whether which branch of the tree you are exploring, and pick up the best node based on the heuristic value. So it is quite, and this search process may be quite jittery, that moves across different branches and so on and so forth, but it is justified because we are looking at an AI problem. The heuristic value is just an estimate. Heuristic value is not an exact answer, and that is why it has to be that way. We have also seen it is that it is possible to apply a little different type of a search called solution search, where every node in the search space represents a solution. So, what we are doing is kind of a generate test. We will just look at a sequence. For example, we will take a missionary cannibal problem. We will just look at a typical sequence of states and see if it is a valid state, acceptable one. If not, then we will pick up the something else and so on. That is called perturbation search. The earlier search methods that we have seen are called constructive search methods, and both of them are used in practice. Some cases one search method is better, in some other cases the other method is better, and in some cases they are applied in a hybrid way. I will end this module. Thanks.